Commander ZYXTAL of the Galactic Coalition Defense Force stood before the assembled human recruits at Fort Benning, his three eyes scanning the crowd with barely concealed disgust. The humans were smaller than most species in the coalition, their bodies fragile, lacking natural armor or enhanced sensory organs. They didn't even have proper claws. Weaklings, he muttered in his native tongue, forgetting that Sergeant James Rodriguez stood right beside him with a translation device. Rodriguez smiled but said nothing. He'd heard it all before. The Galactic Coalition had been at war with the Krillian swarm for 2 years. Despite superior technology and numbers, they were losing. In desperation, they'd finally accepted Earth's application to join the war effort, though few believed these soft-bodied mammals would make any difference. Among the new recruits was Private Marcus Thompson, a former college student from Texas who'd enlisted the day the coalition opened recruitment. Tall and lean, he looked unremarkable even by human standards. ZYXTAL dismissed him immediately during the first inspection. The training began with basic combat scenarios. The alien instructors designed courses based on coalition standards, tests that involved carrying 50-kilogram packs over rough terrain, tactical simulations, and weapons training with plasma rifles. What they didn't account for was human stubbornness. Where Thraxian soldiers, with their 4 powerful legs, needed rest every 6 hours, the humans kept going. When the crystalline Velkar warriors complained about the desert heat during training exercises, Marcus and his squad pushed through, their bodies sweating, a biological advantage the aliens found revolting but couldn't deny was effective. They don't know when to quit, ZYXTAL reported to his superiors. It's not intelligence or strength. It's madness. The real test came during the first deployment. Marcus's unit, Bravo Company, consisting of 30 humans and 70 coalition soldiers, was dropped into the contested zone on Kepler 442b. The mission was simple: hold a supply depot against Krillian raids until reinforcements arrived. The Krillians attacked on the second night. ZYXTAL watched from the command post as sensor readings showed over 200 hostiles approaching. Standard protocol called for a defensive retreat to preserve forces. He ordered the evacuation. Rodriguez refused. With respect, Commander, we're staying. This is suicide. Your species has no natural defenses against Krillian acid attacks. You'll be dissolved alive. Maybe, Rodriguez replied calmly. But we gave our word we'd hold this position. So we're holding it. What happened next would be studied in coalition military academies for generations. The humans didn't fight like any species ZYXTAL had encountered. They didn't rely on superior firepower or wait for tactical advantages. Instead, they improvised. When their plasma rifles overheated, they switched to conventional firearms they'd brought from Earth. When ammunition ran low, Marcus's squad rigged explosives from supply crates. Private Thompson distinguished himself by doing something no coalition soldier would consider: he charged directly into enemy lines. A Krillian warrior, twice his size and armored with chitinous plates, had broken through their perimeter. Instead of falling back, Marcus sprinted forward with nothing but a combat knife and what humans called suppressing fire from his squad. He slid under the creature's acid spray, drove his knife into the weak point between its armor segments, and held on as it thrashed. Is he insane? ZYXTAL shouted, watching the feed. Probably, Rodriguez answered. But he's also very good at his job. Marcus survived. So did the depot. When reinforcements finally arrived 18 hours later, they found Bravo Company still holding position. 38 coalition soldiers had been evacuated with injuries. All 30 humans remained at their posts, exhausted but alive. The ground was littered with over 100 Krillian corpses. ZYXTAL descended from his command ship personally. He found Marcus sitting on an ammunition crate, cleaning his knife, a bandage wrapped around his head. Private Thompson, the commander's translator, crackled. Your species. I apologize. I called you weak. I was wrong. Marcus looked up, his face covered in dust and dried blood, not all of it his own. He smiled that peculiar human expression. "No offense taken, sir. We're used to being underestimated." "How did you do it?" "We have stronger warriors, better technology." "What advantage do humans possess?" Rodriguez joined them, overhearing the question. "It's not about being the strongest or the smartest, Commander. Humans learn something over thousands of years of fighting each other. When you're outmatched, you don't give up. You adapt. You improvise. And you never, ever abandon your brothers in arms." Marcus nodded. "Plus, we're really good at holding grudges. Those bug bastards killed civilians on Europa. We remember." Zewixtal's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, his species' expression of deep thought. In the coalition, wars were fought with careful calculations of acceptable losses and strategic withdrawals. Honor meant preserving your forces to fight another day. Humans operated on different principles entirely. Word of Bravo Company's stand spread through the coalition forces. More human units were deployed, and everywhere they went, the dynamics changed. They taught alien soldiers improvisation tactics. They shared concepts like covering fire and tactical retreats that aren't really retreats. They introduced the idea that sometimes the best strategy was sheer determination. 6 months later, the tide of the war turned. The Krillians, who had evolved to fight opponents that followed predictable patterns, couldn't adapt to human unpredictability. Coalition forces, inspired and trained by their human allies, fought with renewed vigor. Marcus received the Coalition Star of Valor, the first human to be so honored. During the ceremony, Zewixtal pinned the medal to his dress uniform personally. "We thought you were weak," the commander said, his translator capturing the emotion in his voice. "We were fools. Humanity doesn't need natural armor or enhanced strength. You have something far more dangerous, the absolute refusal to accept defeat." Marcus stood at attention, proper and professional. But as Zewixtal turned away, he heard the young private whisper to Rodriguez, "Told you we'd show 'em." Rodriguez grinned. "Damn right, soldier. Damn right." In the end, the galaxy learned what humans had always known: strength isn't just about physical power. Sometimes, it's about standing your ground when any rational being would run. Sometimes, it's about loyalty to the soldier beside you. And sometimes, it's simply about being too stubborn to quit. The aliens had thought humans were weak. They'd never been more wrong about anything in their entire history.